Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Aguilar, Baumgardner, Cook, Coram, Court, Crowder, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Garcia, Gardner, Guzman, Hill, Holbert, John, Jones, Kagan, Kafalis, Kerr, Lambert, Lumberg, Marble, Martinez-Jimenez, Merrifield, Moreno, Neville, Priola, Scott, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Tate, Todd, Williams, Sinzinger, Mr. President.
Here. 35 present, 0 absent, 0 excused. We have a quorum. Senator Priola, would you like to come and lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members, colleagues, those within my hearing, I move that we dispense with any recollection or memory of Monday, May 8th, actually, my correction, Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the Journal of Monday, May 8th, 2017, and that be approved as corrected by our esteemed Secretary.
You have heard the wonderful motion of the esteemed senator from Colorado Springs. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Joint Resolution 44 and 45, correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 21-275 and 301, Senate Joint Resolution 43, correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 12-19, 183, 267, 296, 300, 304, 305, and 306, correctly revised, House Bill 1227, 1248, 1285, 1308, 1322, 1338, 1342, 1343, 1349, 1353, 1354, 1355, 1357, 1361, and 1365, House Joint Resolution 1029, correctly re-revised, House Bill 1289, 1332, and 1359 correctly enrolled. Senate Bill 74, 111, 129, 182, 82, 92, 295, and 297.
Message from the House.
The House is postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 288. The bill is returned herewith.
Sponsorship change. Representatives Casey Becker and Sane will replace Representative John Becker as House Prime Sponsors on Senate Bill 301 with Senator Scott. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, members. Welcome to the 119th day. We are going to focus on two things here, the first part of the 119th day. The first thing that we are going to focus on is getting Senate bills through third reading, because they have to be. If we have a Senate bill that does not reach third reading today, it cannot go to the House, go to committee, second reading today, and then third reading for them tomorrow. So the first focus that we have this morning, Senate bills on third reading. The second focus that we have this morning, House bills through second reading. Okay? House bills through second reading. The third thing we need to be aware of is that there are 3 bills coming over from the House. So at some point this morning, we are going to recess so that committees, State Affairs, Finance, and Appropriations can go meet. We have a group of bills that have come out of Appropriations Committee this morning, but we have 3 more bills that may need to go through Appropriations after, assuming they clear Finance and or State Affairs. So Appropriations will come back and meet in the well later today. Then, when we get through those committees, we will have Appropriations meet here, then we will have those bills, and those are all, of course, House bills. Then those bills will come into our second reading of bills, either consent or second reading. And we will be taking up a long list of special orders later in today. And then we will take care of House bills that are on consent thirds or regular thirds. There's no rush on the House bills. We have until tomorrow to do House bills on thirds. So again, our first focus this morning, we'll be jumping around on the calendar a little bit. I just wanted you to be aware of why. That's why. Our first focus, getting Senate bills through third reading. Second focus, House bills through seconds. And then later on today, we will clear things through House bills, consent calendars, and that sort of thing later on today. So please don't worry if you have a bill that's, say, on third reading consent. The first thing I'm going to do is move that we lay over the third reading consent calendar until later today. It's going to happen. There's just no deadline on that. We want to get to third reading on Senate bills and then later on to second reading of House bills so that we can keep those moving, and also with special orders to be able to keep those coming into the pipeline. Mr. President, with that, I would move to lay over the third reading of bills consent calendar till later today. Do we need anything more specific than that?
You have heard the motion. Is there any? Well, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the third reading of bills consent calendar will be laid over till later today. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now moving on to page 2, third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. President, I move to lay over House Bills 1342 and 1227 to the end of the third reading of bills calendar to follow Senate Bill 301.
Motion is to lay over House Bills 1342 and 1227 till after Senate Bill 301 at the end of the third reading of bills calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those will be laid over to the end of the third reading of bills calendar. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of the Senate Bill 275?
Senate Bill 275 by Senators Baumgartner and John, Representatives Melton and Singer, concerning marijuana in connection therewith, authorizing research regarding the safety and efficacy of medical marijuana and the safe effective use of pesticides, and establishing interim standards for the use of pesticides in connection therewith, making an appropriation.
Senator Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 275 and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion on Senate Bill 275? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 275. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 275 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Majority Leader Holbert, Senator Smallwood, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Kerr, Senator co-sponsors 275, Senator Crowder, Senator Scott, Senator Tate, Minority Leader Guzman, Senator Garcia, Senator Kafalis, Senator Merrifield, Senator Fenberg. Please add the President. Senator Aguilar, Senator Williams, Senator Todd. Senator Jones, Senator Fields, Senator Martinez-Humenick, Senator Court, Senator Lambert. Senator Baumgartner would like to co-sponsor his own bill. Please add the President again. Mr. Carpenter, can I move on now, folks? Is it okay? All right. I got everybody? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of Senate Bill 21?
Senate Bill 21 by Senator Martinez-Humenick and Representative Singer, concerning reentry services for persons with mental illness in the criminal justice system.
Senator Martinez-Humenick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 21 on third and final reading. I'm sorry. We're on second reading. Third and final reading, and ask for the Chamber's approval.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 21? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 21. Are there any no votes? With 30 no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, Senate Bill 21 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Tate, Senator Kafalis, Senator Fields, Senator Moreno, Senator Merrifield, Senator Todd, Senator Williams, Senator Aguilar, Senator Court, Senator Kerr, Senator Priola, Senator Gardner, Senator Garcia, Senator Smallwood, Senator Fenberg, Mr. Carpenter, would you please read the title of Senate Bill 301?
Senate Bill 301 by Senators Scott and Marble and Representatives Becker, Kay, and Sang, concerning energy-related statutes in connection therewith, reducing an appropriation.
Senator Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 301, but must ask forgiveness and permission for a dreaded third reading cleanup amendment.
You may ask for both forgiveness and permission, but you will probably only receive one. Could you please give a brief explanation of the need for an amendment on third reading?
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a little bit of a drafting error on my part, and no, never mind. We had to change two things in the bill, a couple of dates, as you can see on lines 3 and 4. And the first part of the bill, we had to change from any rate adjustment and substitute base rates, because we had kind of made a little mistake that although gas may be cheap, it cannot be free. Except you.
Question before the body is permission to offer a third reading amendment. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, permission is granted. There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read Amendment L045?
Amendment L045 to Senate Bill 301 by Senator Scott, amending gross bill page 4, line 14, strike any rate adjustment to substitute base rates, page 51, line 27, strike 2017 to substitute 2018, page 52, line 9, strike 2017 to substitute 2018.
Anyone want to move this amendment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Senator Scott.
I move L045 and ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion on Amendment L045? Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, and maybe it's a question to the sponsor, it says any rate adjustment, so application review and administration, except that the investor-owned utilities costs, this is for gas, right, associated with any approved application may not be recovered through the base rate is the substitute, and before it was the any rate adjustment. And I like any rate adjustment, I think. But if the sponsor would answer what the difference is, that'd be great.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L045? Motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment L045. Are there any no votes? Senator Jones, Senator Fields, Senator Kafalis, Senator Garcia, Senator Kerr, Senator Court. I got you, Senator Jones. Senator Kagan, Senator Merrifield, Senator Todd, Senator Aguilar, Senator Moreno, Minority Leader Guzman. (23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused). Amendment L045 is adopted. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 301? It's already moved. Is there any further discussion? Senator Scott? No? Further discussion on 301? Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like permission to offer a third reading amendment. Come on, nothing? Oh my gosh!
I give you permission to donate. I'd give you permission to donate $5 to the Senate desk, Representative Jones.
Well, if I can continue, Mr. President.
You bet.
Thank you. This isn't any laughing matter. This bill, in my opinion, sends us in the wrong direction. And worse yet, it does it. We put more gas. We tell PUC to go look at the gas issue and hold hostage the Colorado Energy Office, which does a lot of good work for Coloradans, and including in clean energy. They help dairy farmers reduce their energy load and save money. They help small businesses have loans so that they can do energy efficiency and put wind and solar on their roof. That's just a couple of the things that they do. They also work to make natural gas cleaner, by the way. But the direction we should be headed is for a clean energy economy. It should be fitting with our Colorado brand of being clean. And this gas portion in this bill is problematic. I guess if you had a portion in this bill that asked the same to be done for wind and solar, that might make a little sense. But we have a fundamental choice, members. We have real issues in this state. We are addressing climate change and feeling the impacts of it. 1 in 14 trees are dead in Colorado in part because of climate change. We've had a major flood that was likely increased because of climate change. We have fires that rage out of control far more than they used to, likely because of climate change. And we have a moral responsibility to address that. For our kids, for our grandkids, for ourselves. Not only that, we have a responsibility to do cleaner fuels so that we reduce pollution that adversely affects people's health. 1 in 12 Coloradans has asthma. Your neighbor has asthma. They have to stay indoors on high ozone days. Not only that, 1 in 20 Coloradans have COPD. They have a similar problem. They tend to be older, too. So we have real health issues around this. Ozone is one of the issues. More directly near oil and gas wells, there are concerns about pollution of cancer-causing pollutants coming off those wells. We also have a real opportunity because wind and solar are now cheaper than gas and coal, and certainly more cheap, a lot less expensive than nuclear. Did you know in nuclear there's a congressional bill act that says since Lloyd's of London won't insure those plants, that you and I back them up, we are the insurers for the nuclear industry after Lloyd's. And they're uneconomical on top of that. But the cheapest thing is wind and solar. And we ought to be taking advantage of that, in my opinion. And the final thing is it creates good jobs for Coloradans. Northeast Junior College has a program that trains people to be technicians on wind and solar. Good jobs, $50,000 a year start. There are 4,500 jobs in the Eastern Plains as a result of wind and solar. 120 new small businesses. Good jobs. And we need to do more of that. It's good for our economy. It's good for our health. It's good for our future. We should be going with wind and solar and not with carbon fuels like gas and coal. And the quicker we do that, the better off we are health-wise and job-wise and cost-wise. And this bill says, no, we should be looking at gas again. Let's go backwards in time and in place. And I tell you, if you talk to Coloradans and if you ask them which way we should go on this, and I've seen the polling, and you can go out and online and look at it too, they say wind and solar. And giving people a choice to put solar on the roof, by the way. So that's the direction we should be going in here. We shouldn't be holding the Energy Office hostage to get more gas on the system that doesn't make economic sense, health sense, or climate sense. So I ask for a no vote on this bill.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I ask for a yes vote on Senate Bill 301 because it does make economic sense. And just to clear the record up a little bit, wind and solar is the most expensive power you can choose. The only economical side to it is the subsidies that are created. And I have a little bit of knowledge on this. I've been following this pretty carefully. Run my own home off solar. A little bit of wind, but that, frankly, is just not that useful. It's so erratic around here. We need to capitalize on the real energy assets the state of Colorado and therefore the people of Colorado have, and that does start with the base energy systems, coal, oil, gas. When are we going to stop playing games with the people of Colorado when it comes to their energy resources. I believe this is a good bill. It heads the right direction, and it recognizes the real realities of what makes our state and indeed our nation strong, and that's a good, reliable, inexpensive energy source or sources, and it's really an all of the above. To somehow give this impression that wind and solar is beyond belief, frankly. It's just not correct. But this bill is headed the right direction. I urge a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 301? Seeing none, the motion before the body. Senator Scott.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just wanted to remind members, if you weren't paying attention last night to the House actions, they actually killed the only bill that would allow us to do any kind of research, mapping, as our colleagues have asked for, on flow lines, document integrity. It's still in 301. Now, as yesterday, as we all know, there was quite a fight here in the well over that particular issue, and I think it's very, very important that we point out to everybody in Colorado that we have a bill. We have a way forward. If you want to vote against that, that's totally up to you. But there is a path, and it's clear. Thank you.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wasn't going to come back up, but I think we need to clarify the record. What happened last night in the House, there was a mapping bill for oil and gas, and there was a filibuster that ran past midnight, basically killing the bill. And it's ironic that people in the House would spend time on a filibuster.
Senator Crowder.
Very briefly, Mr. President, in some ways I concur with the previous speaker. I do believe that we need all forms of energy, coal as well as energy from the sun as well as solar. But, you know, he made a comment a few minutes ago about climate change. You know, if you look at the Dust Bowl in the 30s in this state, if you look at the drought that we just come out of in southeastern Colorado, there is climate change. But the arrogance of how people can control that is what is at issue. There is some differences in our scientists on this. But I do believe the technology on coal and gas is coming along so well that it is improving in our environment. Nobody wants to have a dirty environment. But I do believe that this argument is strictly ideology driven, but I do believe that all forms of energy should be embraced. Thank you. And vote yes on this bill.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 301? Seeing none, the motion for the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 301. Are there any no votes? Minority Leader Guzman, Senator Merrifield, Senator Aguilar, Senator Court, Senator Kagan, Senator Kerr, Senator Garcia, Senator Kafalis, Senator Jones, Senator Williams,